Well, holy smokers, folks, this ain't no dang jokers. By the minute, things are crashing worse and worse and worse by the minute. And everybody's looking right now and they're like, what is going on? Like, why is all of a sudden everything crashing? It's 52-week low after 52-week low with stocks. It's new all-time lows. It's multi-year lows. And people are like, what is going on? And in this video, I kind of want to break down exactly what's going on here because we have a multitude of reasons that have basically, let's just call it, popped up in the last 1 to 2 months that are all converging at the same time. And it's making the market into this ultra volatile beast right now, and it doesn't matter what you're in right now, you are feeling the pain now. Okay, welcome to the crash all the small cap investors have been feeling for months now. Okay, we just want to welcome everybody else to the crash party because this is awful. I actually want to start out here looking at Bitcoin because Bitcoin is just all of a sudden starting to fall. Bitcoin had been holding up decent, but now look at the last 5 days for Bitcoin, 13%. And let's be honest, that 13% or so is basically come in the last 2 days. If I pull up a 2-day chart, that's basically about a 13% down. So Bitcoin's all of a sudden fallen off the rails and it just gets worse and worse and worse. Ethereum has fallen almost 19% in the past 5 days, but let's be honest, it's really fallen about 20% or so in the past 2 days, roughly. By the way, make sure you get your free stocks from Moomoo while they still have free stocks over there, guys. Check out pinned comment down there for those free stocks. Get up to 5 free stocks valued up to $3,500. And make sure you subscribe to this channel, okay? ADA Cardano, 28% down in the past 5 days. We're not even going to go through all the altcoins that are down 30, 40, 50+% in the past 5 days. I just want to give you an idea of what's going on in the crypto market because all of a sudden that's starting to get really, really ugly, okay? Let's take it over to the stock market now and let's look at the devastation here. So NASDAQ is now down roughly 12% year to date. Guys, this is, unless the market magically recovers for the next 5 to 7 trading days of the month, we're going to be in the worst January in the history of the stock market. Like literally, unless we magically get some reversal here, like this is going to finish out as the worst January in the history of the stock market. And I'm kind of hoping it does, to be quite frank, not just because I would like to buy some stocks for even cheaper, but to be honest, I would like it just so it could be a little badge of honor. Because if we've gone through all this pain, why not have it just be the worst in history? So then all of us can say, as a collective unit, we were in the market when it crashed the most ever in the history of the stock market for a month of January. That would be cool. We'll take that little badge of honor. If we're going to go through all this pain, why not just finish the worst ever, okay? So we're getting pretty dang close. We get another week, weakness this upcoming week. It doesn't even have to be a huge down week this upcoming week. If we just get a little bit down this upcoming week, we'll be there. We'll be the worst ever, okay? So let's go for that. Palantir is the first stock I want to talk about here, and then we'll get to the multitude of reasons why this market is all crashing all at once and the convergence of things. But I thought it was interesting to look at Palantir because this is a stock that's obviously very heavily a retail stock. We all know that. And Palantir, its future, we know it has a bright future in front of it. But that doesn't matter right now. Look at the 3-month. This is extraordinary. It's a 44% downward move for Palantir in a 3-month span. Extraordinary. Year to date, guys, we're 3 months into the year. We're 3 weeks into the year. 3 weeks into the year. 3 flipping flapjacks into the year. And and Palantir's down 25.7%. I mean, wow. I mean, it's not like Palantir was some high-flying stock going into the last 3 months or going into the year to date. This had already been a stock that had been hit heavily. And this also isn't a stock that's super shorted either. So you can't really blame it on the shorts. You can't really blame it on, it was a high-flying stock. This is just, it's just devastation. Just strictly devastation for Palantir, although it has a bright future, right? TTCF, this is, you guys know how much I love TTCF. I've been investing in this one super heavily for the last several months. They have an unbelievable future in front of this company. They're getting into every retailer you want to ever get into. Their sell-through is disgusting. The numbers they're going to put up over the next several years are going to be amazing, regardless if we have a recession or not. It doesn't matter if we're in a good economic climate, bad economic. It doesn't matter. Tattoo Chef's putting up crazy growth rates over the coming years. But that doesn't matter right now. 3 months down 28%. Year to date, 18% down. In 1 month, down 22%, right? And Tattoo Chef was not a high-flying stock or by any means necessary, okay? And that stock just continues to get hammered day after day after day. And it's like, when does the pain end in this stock? You know, the future doesn't matter in this sort of market right now. The future, they don't care about that. It doesn't matter that this is going to be a $10 billion plus company. It doesn't matter that this company is going to be a food giant. None of that matters in this sort of market. Growth rates don't matter. It's just sell by any means necessary. That's a tame one. Look at FOMO. Oh, 64% in 3 months. Oh my gosh. Okay. I mean, that takes the cake. That's all I'm going to say about that. That takes the cake and it eats it too. 3 months down 64% for FOBO. Oh my gosh, FOBO. I always pronounce it differently. The 1 month on this stock is down 42%. Now, with Netflix's dramatically bad guidance, a lot of people are worried about FUBO now, and they're like, what's going to happen with these numbers? Look how bad Netflix just missed, and look at how much Netflix just got destroyed. Netflix down like 20-something% today, okay? So when it comes to this stock, this is obviously a like almost a call option on Netflix, right? And it's just devastating. And this is a platform that's had unbelievable growth and expected to have great growth this upcoming year. But man, it doesn't matter in this sort of market right now. None of that matters. Oatly, OTLY, dominant player in oat milk, which is a huge growing sector, massive growth. Their sell-through is crazy at Oatly, okay? And they have a bunch of other products that are super popular as well. They have a deal with Starbucks, and they have a lot, okay? But none of that matters. 3 month down 53% in this company? Oh my gosh, okay? Here's the bad thing about Oatly. And I love this stock. This is a stock I'm actively buying out there in the market right now. I love this one for the long term. But Oatly has a massive, massive, massive issue we cannot overlook. And that issue is this company went public, basically within the last 12 months. And when you went public in the last 12 months, you haven't built up a long-term shareholder base. Like if you've been a public company for 10, 20, 30, 40 years, you build up a long-term shareholder base around the stock, right? You get funds, institutional funds, hedge funds, high net worth individuals, maybe to invest in it, retail investors. You get this collective that are willing to hold the stock through tough times. You know, when I say tough times, I don't necessarily mean for the business model. I mean just for the stock price, right? They're there to hold it. But Oatly hasn't built that up yet. So there's just been a stock in complete free fall, and there's no one there holding it, because it just hasn't built up that long-term shareholder base. Not a heavily shorted stock or anything like that. But yeah, 53% down in 3 months. That's, it's incredible. Honest, same exact situation as an Oatly. This is a diaper and wipe company, a makeup company. It doesn't matter if we go into a recession or no recession or great economic times or the Fed does this, the Fed does that. None of that matters for Honest. They're going to have great numbers over the coming years. It doesn't matter what's going on. Okay? But the stock is at $5.95. I remember when it used to be $5.95 per trade you made, okay? And that's Honest's stock price right now. And when it comes to Honest, same exact situation as with Oatly, where there's a company that's went public in the past year. They haven't been able to build up their long-term shareholder base, and you go into a stock market crash. I mean, it's a worst case scenario. That's literally the worst case scenario. And that's how a company that, although their products are as safe gets when it comes to sell-through and those sorts of things, it's down 36% in the past 3 months, 26% in the past 1 month. This is a business model that I'm buying heavily right now. I bought a ton of these shares here today, and I'm 0% worried about Honest in any circumstance. But right now in the stock market, it doesn't have a long-term shareholder base, and you're in a stock market crash right now. Okay, the amount of stocks in bear market right now is disgusting. Square stock. 116. This one's seen as a more speculative play in terms of a larger cap company, right? $50+ billion market cap on this one. Also seen as a crypto play. And guess what? When crypto's tanking, that's not going to bode well for Square. And when folks want out of risk, that's not going to bode well for a stock like Square. And Square is down 53% plus in the past 3 months when it comes to Square stock. Square, think about this for a moment. Square owns the #1 most popular app in the entire United States of America for the finance category. And yet the stock has just been devastated. Day after day after day, 52-week low after 52-week low, and a 53% downward move in 3 months. It's extraordinary. You don't just see this stuff, okay? What I'm showing you here, guys, I want you to always remember this because this is an extraordinary time we're going through. You don't get many moments like this. You don't get many moments where I'm going to be able to pull up stocks down 53%, 64%, boom, 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 just stock after stock after stock in a 3-month span. This is a freak time period we're going through, so never forget this moment because this is just classic material, okay? 3 month for the Russell. 13% down. 1 year is now down 8%. Year to date, the Russell's now down 11.46%. Russell's just absolutely devastated. The Russell will likely be the one that comes back first, fastest, as we come out of this mess whenever that finally, when it finally ends. And there's a lot of debate when it's going to end. March, April, middle of the year, next year. There's that's a whole other debate there, okay? I made a whole video going into that recently on Financial Education 3 here. Apple stock. Apple's been holding up well, but I'll be honest with you guys. I think I would call it a 60% probability that Apple loses all its 3-month gains, which are 9%, and loses I would say is a 50-50 that it loses all its 1-year gains. I think Apple's guidance is likely going to come in weak, and Apple's got a big valuation on it now, PE-wise, forward PE-wise, price-to-sales ratio-wise than what it usually does. And so I think there's a pretty decent probability this stock loses all its gains and actually ends up going negative, and it will likely happen more quicker. Let's just put it that way because, I think even if their last quarter is good, I think guidance is going to be iPhone search term, lowest it's been in 5 years, guys. Apple search terms, falling off a cliff. No bueno, okay? No bueno. Google McDougal? Yeah. As crazy as it sounds, I think there's about a 50% probability that Google loses all of its 1-year gains right now, okay? So Google, if you're talking about another company that I'm very worried about any guidance they provide, it's Google. I think their last quarter is probably going to be fine, but I think their overall upcoming 22 and this upcoming quarter is going to be worrisome, and I will not be surprised at all if this baby does end up pulling back and potentially, as crazy as it sounds, giving up most, if not all, the 1-year gains there. I'm just looking at ad rates, and I'm like, I don't know how Google comes in with the type of numbers they're expected to come in at. Google's a great long-term buy, and that's the thing. You can't get confused with some of these stocks. They're great long-term buys. Google's a great long-term buy. Facebook's a great long-term buy. But when you're in a fear market and all of a sudden you're guiding for weaker numbers than are expected, and maybe your valuation's pushed, you get devastated time after time after time again. And keep in mind, Google's a long dang ways from its 52-week low. So that is something to keep in mind there. Okay, Amazing's on Amazon. New 52-week low here today when it comes to Amazon. This stock has sold off 14% already year to date. And this stock, keep this in mind, okay? It's down over $600 a share from where it was in July of 2020. I pulled that up on the Hungry Bowl recently. I showed that in a video, right? Which Hungry Bowl app, if you haven't downloaded that yet on iOS and Android, do so now because we're about to get into earnings season, and basically we make it easy. So you type in any ticker symbol and listen to their earnings call right inside the app, and it's absolutely free to use, okay? But $600 plus in the last year and a half down for Amazon now. And this stock is approaching down almost $1,000 a share. Like literally, if the market just goes down a little bit, Amazon's going to be down more than $1,000 a share in the past year. That's extraordinary. Nvidia stock. You want to talk about a stock that I'm worried about? Not in the long term, but another one I'm worried about over the next, let's call it 6 to 12 months. NVDA. This one's been holding up pretty well. I think they're going to have trouble hitting a lot of their numbers as this year goes on and on and on. And this stock's got a big valuation on it. The 3-month on this stock is still positive. I think it's losing all its gains. And now 1 year's up 70%. Don't be surprised if it gives back a whole bunch of that. In this sort of volatile market, NVIDIA ends up, acting sometimes last, and it'll end up, pulling down much. Tesla, I don't think is in a great place after Q1. Reason being is, we've looked at is Google search trends for Model 3, for Model Y. They've really fallen off a cliff. Elon Musk a few weeks ago was talking about a recession. What's his main business? Tesla. He's got to be seeing something in the business model that makes him concerned that, oh boy, sales are going to get tough, come a couple quarters from now. The good news is Tesla has a nice backlog, so the past quarter should be really strong. We know that. This upcoming quarter should be pretty strong as well. it's where we're going to likely run into trouble with Tesla is 2Q, 3Q, and as we go forward until we get out of this whole malaise. Auto loan and car loan are at a 5-year low right now for Google Trends. It's bad, and that will end up hitting Tesla. As much as I hate to say it, it will end up hitting Tesla's numbers. And unfortunately, Tesla's got a big dang valuation on it. And yeah, like I said, last quarter is going to be beautiful for Tesla, and likely this upcoming quarter is going to be beautiful for Tesla because of their strong backlog. But gosh, if those orders aren't coming through, which likely they're not, all of a sudden you start to get weakness in the middle of the year, and that's no bueno, okay? Crude oil. So if there's any sort of recession fear start brewing, right? Crude oil is likely going to pull down, and that's going to pull down oil and gas stocks. Remember, we're trading up very high on oil right now in terms of 52-week range. If this market continues to weaken and all of a sudden you get some real recession fears, crude oil can likely pull down, which would be freakish, because usually how this works is oil is down in the wintertime and goes up in price in the summertime. But when it comes to this year, we could actually get an inverse of that, where oil is actually its highest here in wintertime. And as we go throughout 22, next thing you know, oil is actually tanking down. So that is something very, very important to keep in mind there, okay? Now, why is everything crashing all at once and so dang fast, okay? So there's a multitude of reasons going on right now. And I want to explain how all this works together, okay? And there's some even up here that I didn't list that I want to get into. First thing is there's all these Fed worries going on. What's the Fed going to do? How many times are they going to raise? Everybody's talking about 4 to 7 times. All I'm talking about now, and I want to put my stake in the ground, I think it's possible the Fed only raises twice, or maybe even pulls back rates, as crazy as it sounds, at some point this year. I'm putting my stake in the ground. Don't forget, I was the first person that said that, okay? So as the year goes on, if that becomes more and more of a reality, I just want to make sure I get my dues for that one, okay? But everybody's convinced the Fed's raising 4 to 7 times. Yeah, I'm just not so convinced of that when I see auto loans, home loans, all those things tanking through the floor in the last 1 to 2 months, unless that magically reverses. And when I see savings plummeting through the floor and everything else, iPhone search term going through lowest we've seen in 5 years, and so many of these other things, yeah, I'm having trouble believing the Fed's going to raise rates as this year goes on. We have inflation worries, which I think should be more around deflation worries kind of as 22 goes on. But right now, everybody's backwards looking at the crazy rates of inflation. Yeah, that's gonna stop itself by itself. Regardless of what the Fed does, inflation is going to calm way down. And likely even, I'm scared to say the word deflation because I don't know if I am ready to go there. But as this year progresses, inflation's got to pew, okay? There's real true Biden worries. So Biden's been on the job for a year now. And if you look at essentially, his everything, when it comes to do people want to vote him back in? Do they like the job he's doing? All those sorts of polls and things like that. He's in a bad place, okay? The American people, Democrats and Republicans, really don't have any faith in Biden right now. And that's a huge issue for the market because that's a confidence thing, right? Whereas with Trump, there was, what people had issues with Trump was the way he would talk, the things he would say, the way he would address things, the way he conducted himself, things like that, right? But most people kind of believed in him from an economic side. Well, with Biden, I don't think many people, Democrats or Republicans, really believe in Biden economically. And so there's a lot of Biden worries, and if we get into a situation where all of a sudden, some job cuts start coming, wages start, being cut as we go throughout this year, I think there's a lot of folks that are, worried about, is Biden going to really be the guy to save us? So I think there's true Biden worries now. Number 4, stop losses are getting hit left and right, and basically what that makes is more and more stocks start getting hit, with the stop losses. And let's say you got a stop loss on Square at 130, all of a sudden, boom, your shares get sold to Square at 130, and that bumps it down to 127. And some guys got it at 127, and boom, all of a sudden you're down to 125, and a guy's got it at 125. And so then the algos start going and selling, right? Because it's like it's reading technical indicators, and it's like this stock is, off the charts getting sold, like just sell. So you have that going on. You have economic worries, which I think are very on the DL right now. I'm publicly talking about this, but you don't hear anybody publicly talking about true economic worries. But I have true economic worries, and I think there's small circles of individuals that have big money that I think they're starting to see some stuff and some data out there, some forward-looking stuff that is giving some economic worries, but you're not hearing people talk about it. I think you're going to start having people talk about it as we get into February and March, and then it will become a bigger thing as far as economic worries, in my opinion. I think that will become a bigger thing as we go throughout the springtime, okay? Right now, I'm one of the very few that's out here talking about that. And you get this multitude of things going on, and then you get, what I talked about in the main channel today going with all this mess. And the next thing you know, right? You're in a situation where everybody's sell, and they're just selling everything. They're selling everything and asking questions later. And that's a sort of market we're in at the moment. And, that's kind of what's going on here. I put together a really good video on this channel a few days ago on how long something like this usually lasts. So if you want to kind of, check out a video that goes into depth on how long something like this lasts, just check out the channel, watch a video I put out a few days ago on that, and enjoy that one, guys. Much love as always. Keep your head out there. As for me, if the market keeps dropping, I keep investing. Like, regardless if I'm worried about recessions, Fed, anything like that, like, I always stay invested. I always stay investing. That's just the name of the game for me, guys. Moo, you want those 5 free stocks? I would do it before, they might end up taking that away in the future. So get your 5 free stocks now valued up to $3,500. They might even be doing a deal for TTCF. I don't know. We'll see about that, okay? Pin comment for that deal down there. Much love and have a great day.